If I'd known they wanted to kill me, I would have stayed in bed. I wasn't asleep when they rang the doorbell at the crack of noon, but I sure as hell wasn't ready to face the world. Still, I rolled out of the sack and staggered down the stairs. "Hold your horses," I called. My long hair was a rat's nest, and I wore only a pair of navy blue sweatpants with a silver stripe running down each leg. I ran my fingers through my hair trying to straighten it, but only managed to pull it. Ow! I opened the front door. 2 large men glared at me from the porch. Maybe they didn't like standing in the Texas sun in the middle of July. The humidity was so bad it would have been nice to have gills. I shielded my eyes and squinted. Maybe I shouldn't have had that 7th glass of whiskey at the club last night. "Mr. Brett Masters?" one of them said. "Who wants to know?" I asked, looking them up and down. They both had slicked back dark hair and wore matching smartly tailored Brioni suits with red power ties, crisp white t-shirts, and Salvatore Ferragamo crocodile loafers. The shoes looked black to me, but these guys would turn up their noses and insist they were Nero. "I'm Mr. Russo," the larger man said. He didn't have any trace of an accent. "And I'm Mr. Toscano," the other man said. He had a permanently furrowed brow and a tilt to his lips that made it look like he'd been sucking lemons all day. "We'd like to come inside, Mr. Masters," Russo said. "Why?" I asked. "Allow us entry and we'll explain the situation." I rubbed sleep from my eyes. "Place is a mess," I said. "It's early and I'm not ready for company." "In reference to your objections in order, Mr. Masters, we don't care," Russo said. "It's afternoon, and once more, we don't care." Toscano opened his jacket a bit. At first I thought he was just hot, but his intent was to show me he had a gun in a shoulder holster. "That a Beretta?" "Bursa." "And you're threatening to shoot me in broad daylight?" Toscano nodded. "I'd be quite happy to shoot you, Mr. Masters. I'm not much for small talk." Russo smiled, and for a moment his teeth looked sharp, but when I looked at him again, his teeth went back to normal. "We would enjoy killing you, Mr. Masters, but our orders are simply to retrieve a package, and we are to allow you to live as long as you cooperate." "Please don't cooperate," Toscano said. And for a moment, his teeth looked sharp too. Shit, they were Mako Klansmen. These guys were known to shoot people in the kneecaps to prevent them from running. Then they took turns taking bites out of their prey. They liked to keep their victims alive for hours, feasting on them. I'd never met any of them in person before. Yeah, I should have stayed in bed all right. "I don't have any packages here." "You have a UPS delivery due at 2 this afternoon," Russo said and shoved me away from the door so he and his partner could enter the house. "I didn't say you could come inside." "We don't care," Russo said. He strolled to the right into the living room, looking at the tasteful decor. The air conditioner kicked over and shot cool air into the foyer. Toscano pushed me to the left toward the stairs. He stepped into the cool house and closed the door. "Don't want your parents to cool the great outdoors." It was a jab, of course. They wanted me to know that they knew I didn't own the house. It was a family home and a survivor of the Great Storm. I was crashing here in the East End historical district of Galveston. My folks were in New Orleans. They owned a number of houses around the world, including this beautiful old Victorian. You might say they were rich, but that would be an understatement. Someday I'd inherit a share of their wealth. Well, if the Mako Klansmen didn't eat me today. "So you know who my parents are," I said. "We do," Russo said. "Then you know they can have you killed." "Not in time to save you, Mr. Masters. You'll die as a 30-year-old failure to launch." "Whatever, dude. Can you at least tell me who hired you?" "Joseph Carlyle Sinclair III. "Never heard of him," I lied.